Welcome to Umu's Avenue. I'm Umu, and I'm here at Music One Stop Shop today for the 8 Bar Event Talent, and I'm here with my second round of guests. And today I'm here with
Flash.
Okay, and
Daidream.
all right. So I already asked who you all are. Flash, what is your artistry?
I'm a producer, engineer, mix master, do a little songwriting here and there.
That's what's up.
Been helping my brother out recently, some theater space.
Okay. All right, that's what's up. All right, and Daydream, what about you?
So I am also an artist. I'm a songwriter, rapper. I'm a singer. I'm a performer. I really pride myself on being a performer. Like my brother said, we do a bit of theater, so I do some acting as well. But I do a little bit of film, so a little bit of acting there as well. But ultimately, I just pride myself on being an elite performer. I want to be the greatest performer, so that I can be. So.
Period. I love that. So I really like the fact that you all are not very multifaceted as a team. So you all have just now started getting more into the theater like work and everything. Would you say?
Yeah. I don't know. We've been doing it for a little while now.
So you're taking it seriously now. Maybe you could say that, or
well, I mean,
It's expanded.
why would
The possibility.
was that? But I would say the main thing for us is always just was always music. Music is always the main thing. You want to keep the main thing the main thing. So we want to. Our vision for music is something bigger than just recording music in a booth and just making it a sound. We want to make it a movement. We want to make it a show. We want to expand the album and give you as many possibilities of that as we can give you. So
I like that. Like stretch it. It doesn't have to just be one thing. Yeah, and that's cool that you all said that. You definitely should all network with some of the other guests. The first two guests, they have a web series coming out. So collaboration is beautiful in the creative community. So that's cool. If you don't mind me asking, what is your like the acting and theater work about? Like, does it have like a theme, a plot, or anything?
yeah, so I recently released an album called All Boys Wear Blue, and we turned the album into a play. So we wrote a script for the album, and so literally the play is it's a whole concept thing, but I'm literally acting in it. You can go like when I perform it, I'm actually like rapping, singing all the songs live, doing the dancing, the choreography, and all that. So it's but it's ultimately just a story about my time growing up. It's loosely based on my time here, living in Richmond, south side of Richmond, and being like 17 years old and trying to find myself in the early steps of love and mental health and just all these different things, and how music has always been the thing that's tied us together and always been the connecting dots for my life and stuff.
Wow, yeah, that's beautiful. So it was like music was the tune you followed in a way.
Yes.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I did forget to ask, you all are from Richmond, Richmond natives?
Nah, we were born in New York, but we
Okay.
been down here.
I tell people I'm from Richmond.
Yeah.
I've been here since I
New
was
Yorkers
5.
love
I've
to
been here since I
play.
was 5.
Okay,
Yeah,
period.
so it's like we came down here when we were young.
But
Our-
yes,
Okay.
Bronx,
Okay.
shout out to you.
No, you gotta rep the home though. Yeah.
I tell people I'm from Richmond.
It's okay. No, where you born, it's okay. You can rep New York. I'm only hating because I always want to be in New York, but it's okay.
Everybody from Virginia says that.
Because it's like the B is like the next closest thing was New York,
Yeah.
So always going to New York for Christmas, shopping, everything. So that's beautiful though, and New York is really big for art. So you guys come in Richmond, you guys came to another art home, so that's beautiful as well. So Southside is home.
Yeah.
Richmond, yeah.
Southside.
That's
We're off the Gator.
Period.
Southside.
Yeah, Southside,
Yeah.
but also, I mean, we play sports. We originally started playing basketball, so when you play basketball, you travel all around. So we travel all around the city.
Yeah.
Basketball, music, we take music lessons and stuff like that. So we were all over the place, honestly.
That's
So
nice.
I got love for all the Richmond
for
area.
real.
Yeah.
The whole
It was all
Richmond area.
important to shaping who we became.
Yeah, I think different parts of Richmond definitely bring out different parts of you. I'm from Northern Virginia, so when I moved down to Richmond and everything was off Chamberlain, then I was just downtown. I'm a downtown girl all the way down. Like I stayed in Jackson Ward, Jackson Ward, Shaco, Rockets Landing, and everything. So I like that downtown of it, and I think that that's what also, because I go to VCU, so that's what really brought out my artistry even more. So, and then I worked in the restaurant, so it's huge in the downtown area. So all that comes into my play for artistry as well as food, because food is art as well. So, okay, so my next question is, what got you all into your artistry?
That's a good question. I would say music is something that has always been a part of our family. So I think it just kind of naturally, like, I tell people that our relationship with music is akin to like a fish's relationship with water. It's like when you kind of just live in it, you don't even realize that it's a gift or that you're doing anything that's that maybe seem out of the ordinary. So I would say that was our relationship with it, just because family's always into it. My dad loved music.
My dad always music on the bass.
My mom sung in like her church choir and all that stuff. Her family was all musical and stuff. So
it runs pretty deep. So it was just the next natural step, honestly, just to pick up the torch and keep going. So we just like to make good music. So.
Good. And I'm glad you guys didn't let that creativity and like that fuel never die out, because it's like when you in this creative like work and creation, you need that little kid in you still for all that creativity and like that imagination, daydreaming and stuff. Like you need all of that to be able to actually even get creative. And it almost feels cringe, but sometimes the cringier, the more beautiful the art is. Like for me, like when you said that it was almost so natural and you don't realize your gift in it. And that was like, that stuck out to me because I didn't realize that I quote unquote had a gift with music. And for me, my form of, my favorite part of it is the storytelling in music. I love the storytelling, hence the poetry audiobook. Oh, I don't know if I told you guys, I have a poetry audiobook called Umu, and it's in sequence in storytelling form to tell you the story of my artistry, which you can find on Spotify. But, okay, Umu, a September storyteller. Yes. Released in podcast form to also introduce Umu's Avenue, my podcast. But, when I was doing that, how I got into even knowing how to sequence it and knowing what I was doing is first I had to figure out what I was doing, which was I was listening to music and I love lyrics, so I was always doing that, and then took it a step further and started putting the lyrics to pictures, took it a step further into sequencing it to taking the lyrics to picture first and to tell a whole story. So all of that, it like took a while because at first I was just, okay, I'm going to just do lyric to picture. Then I was like, oh, you could even do lyric to picture to story, sequencing it, and then taking it further to the point where it did help me like actually be able to have my poetry audiobook. So I didn't realize things like that were a gift until now, like it is like secondhand nature now, and now I'm like even in another part of my creative artistry. So it's like art is everybody, and then also figuring out what your art is like so fun. Like figuring out what you want to do.
That's the process, and where you can take your art, like, you know, where you start off is not where you're going to finish. So, like, when we first started, we didn't think we would be in the theater era, like, space where we were, and honestly, still keeping it true to hip-hop and where we came in our roots.
Yeah.
So, no, honestly, that's really a big part of it. Just continuing your journey and developing your path and your skills. So,
yeah.
So we have really kind of. So.
And I like that too, that you all have a theater like for Black men too. Like that's like, I think that's very revolutionary, and it's a admirable thing as well. I would flex that a lot too, because it's not something that's something that we have seen to be done. So to tamper into that and to All Boys Wear Blue.
Yes.
And then how you have that, like you all have that sequence. That's really revolutionary. You know, it's different, and I really can't wait to hear more about that and see more about that and share that. I feel like that's it's a big movement. And if you don't mind me asking, what's the meaning for the title?
Okay. It's a very layered meaning, and
you can give me like just surface, and we can like.
Well, I'll say the word "where" has multiple meanings. And also the word blue has multiple meanings. So blue could be the actual color, but it could also be a feeling. So associating this back with music. Why do black people make the blues? Things like that. So
that's those
layers.
No, and I like that. We can discover more. I like that.
Yeah, I don't like to necessarily just give out a flat out answer because everybody interprets things differently when they see the shows.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that I'm learning. Leave room for interpretation. When I had my poetry audiobook, that was my first, and I'm gonna speak about rookie mistakes because I think that's very authentic. I use nature sounds, but I said what the nature sound was, and I said what the poem was about. And I don't think that was necessarily bad, but now reflecting back, and when I do have another listening party, I think I'm going to do things differently where I am going to leave room for people to interpret it differently because I think there's beauty in having someone else have a different point of view. So you saying that is really cool.
I mean, if you're looking at some sound design, production-wise.
Let me ask you a question. What is your process like when you're creating a poem? Does it start with music? Does it start with conversations? Is it a spiritual thing?
I would say all three. So it does start with music, but whenever something, I have a poem that starts with music, it turns into a rhyme poem. So I know it's like a rap. I know it's funny that you say that because I had somewhere I'm I'm going to do this as a poem. And I was reading, I was like, this is a rap. This is not a poem. So I have ones like those. I have some where they are it's like a spiritual and emotional thing. That's funny. I've never had someone ask that, but I have different poems and different things that I wrote for different emotions because I just write when I feel heavy emotions that I don't feel comfortable saying out loud. So I have to put it out or I have to type it out, and then something will make sense of it where I can find better words to articulate because as I feel like as all creatives, and we're noticing, especially with music, your voice and what you say and how you say things, you just get more sensitive. If that's a thing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the sign of a good artist, a true artist, in the meaning of the word artist, in any form or medium. You have we as artists have to be, more discretionary with what we put out. We have to be cognizant of what we put out into the world. And I feel like that's kind of where we've been at, just being more conscious of how is this affecting my community or people around me, or how people take this. So I think that's a big thing that we kind of been.
Yeah, being an artist is being human, but it's feeling all those human emotions on a huge empathic scale where you're able to translate that. So not everybody's feeling the same things, but not everybody's going to be able to take that feeling and turn it into a song or a melody or lyrics or poetry and all that. And so that is one of the gifts and one of the blessings of just being an artist, being able to feel those emotions and then somehow being able to connect the words and find that meaning in that. So.
Yeah, that was real. I got deep. But, okay, so I will ask you.
We do get deep.
Yeah.
We do really get deep. I'm sorry.
No, there will be times for that, for sure. And I definitely, because right now this will get cut out. But what this is I'm hosting an event here for them, with them and everything. But then I'm going to be having my own event where I'm going to be asking people to come. So there will be room for that, for sure.
We definitely need to have another interview for real. And,
for real. I want to have more questions. I want to ask more in depth about your artistry, and I would love for you guys to just reach for real, because there's a lot of people I know that they're scared. I'm scared. I'm still scared.
Everybody, it's more so just it's just that nervousness of feeling oh, is this enough? Is this good enough? Is this out of people? But it's getting over that hump is the biggest thing for your art, Just that getting over that hump of too much caring about how it's perceived is that fine line. It's because it's finding that balance of how is this perceived and also not caring at all how you're perceived.
Taking the criticism and not letting the criticism break you.
But at the same time, you can't let it, you have to keep it in balance with everything else that you have.
Yeah, as an artist, it's definitely super important that you develop a sense of confidence before you really just go out there to like even for me like
screaming. That's so real, bro.
I'm gonna be honest, like doing plays and stuff, like people that go to the theater and stuff, they give you their feedback on the entire thing right then and there. So
that can be immediately after the play. Like
that can be a lot. Like that's not, you don't necessarily always want to hear that sometimes, like right after. But sometimes like having that confidence. Like I personally won't put out anything that I don't feel like, okay, I've sat with this, I've like meditated with this, like I had it long enough that like I know it's ready to go out there. So no matter what anybody else feels about it, I know this is what I need to put out there.
Yeah.
And so sometimes when you have that level of confidence, it don't really matter what nobody says. You can
okay. Because I mean, sometimes you do gotta have that delusional confidence. Like I know this is fire. I don't care what anybody else says.
For real.
Like, and then those were sometimes the ones like, okay, yeah, this is fire. But sometimes you listen to a couple of opinions, it's like, I don't know about that. When you get in your head, you're like, wait.
Right.
Now, when you first played it, your first initial reaction was like, okay, this is it. I really like this. But, you know, you get the outside opinions and it kind of takes it down. You're like, okay, wait.
That could be so detrimental for artists in your early stages of creating something. That's why I don't like, I personally, like, when I'm in the studio recording, I don't like to have a whole bunch of people. It's really just me and him.
Yeah.
Because when you have too much people, like, people, they mean well. Yeah. But sometimes, like, it can kill your confidence because you're like, I know I'm on the verge of something with this idea and I need to just keep committing myself to this idea, and like it might not all click today, but it might click in a month, it might click in 2 months, it might click
the downloads take time.
Yeah.
They do.
But sometimes you play something right away, somebody like, nah. Like, all I did was hum.
You hit the cutty on it.
Yeah, it was just one outlet one day. Like, it was a producer tag.
One tiny minute detail.
Like, no, I feel that though. Like, I'm still, like, what I'm doing here is, like, I had the poetry audio that was, like, introducing my artistry and everything. But the real goal is to really do music and everything, but I have to warm up to the sound, because, you know, hearing yourself on that mic and those headphones, you're like, that's what I was trying to tell you. Like, you start to be like, okay, like, let me watch it. Like, let me chew that gum, let me drink that tea, let me get this all in order and stuff. Yeah, like, it's crazy. And then also, like, not being scared of the sound. Like, when I hear the beats, because I had to switch into, like I told you, I was big into the lyrics. Now I'm big into beats because I have to get comfortable with the beats. I got the lyrics. Like, there was times, like, it would play me, I'm like spinning all these lyrics. I don't got a chorus. I don't got a hook. Like, everything, you know what I mean? So it's like, that transition is interesting. Now I might save this question for later for you all, but how do you all deal with being so multifaceted? Like, have you ever gone through identity crisis in the artistry? And you could just answer like yes or no, and then we could talk about this at the other one, because that's something I've been through. I want to see.
I have a funny story.
you might as well.
I will say, like, for the most part, I've always kind of known I was an artist to some extent, but I will say the one time where, like, I definitely I was in my feelings. I was doing a show, and I'm gonna be vague with this, but I was doing the show. I had to open up. It was for actually a comedy event, but they wanted a music performer. Which all y'all aspiring musicians out there, don't take this gig unless you play instruments, but don't actually go out and comedy crowds. They want to see people tell jokes. They do not want to see you sing. So I did all that, and I thought it was a pretty decent show. But after that, like, the headline comedian, like, just went on stage, like, trashed me.
What?
Yeah, it was. And, like,
so rude. And it's funny because the dude had no content. Like, the comedian was just out there, he had no real content to speak on. And so it was like, okay, how much, like, he could go, like.
But yeah, I got clowned online because a comedian had posted a bunch of stuff and kind of, I'm not gonna say weaponize his fan base, but definitely gave his fan base content off of just me being at this event, and so that, I would say, like, the next day I was definitely just in bed, just like, dang, like, do I really want to? But also,
I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you kept going.
No, but ultimately, like, if you just if it's just in you, if you just love something enough, or you just feel passionate about something enough, that's really how you know if you're meant to do something. Like,
yeah, it wasn't a bad show. Like that, like you would think that's like you would think from perception of certain people that like if you just looked at what one person said, that you would think, oh, that guy really got up here and bombed, he stunk it up. But people will come up to us like, yo, you're top, like you're on fire, like you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. And people did come up to me after that show and was like, oh, I want to know your information.
Like, like that, you listen to that. Sometimes that one voice that's talking negative is way louder than anybody talking positive. Like you hear that, those way more. Like the negative always hits more than the positive, and that's what you have to learn too when you're hearing criticism. Like you're always gonna hit the negative. Like it's always gonna hit closer than the positive. Like people tell you good about yourself, you're like, okay, like cool, that's good. Like, but when they tell you, nah, that's bad, that's gonna hit. Like that's
like you always need a strong inner circle. Like I've had my brother, and I've had a few other people, but I have a really small group of people that I can even trust and confide in.
Yeah.
And my brother's one of those people who he knows how to say things to me or knows how to.
That's important.
Yeah,
that's important. People knowing how to say things to someone.
Absolutely. So even sometimes when we're in the studio and it might not be coming out the way I'm hearing it in my head, even he knows how to say that or how to push us to the next thing, so we're not getting stuck on one thing, or so we're not arguing, or so we're not, I'm not caught up on something, or so that I'm not getting a false sense of like. Reality of like, oh, this is fire. It's like, it could use some more work. So.
We could, all good criticism, constructive criticism is always powerful. You don't want too many yes men. So you have like, you just put out. I don't want to say shit, but like, you know what I mean? Just all that filtered stuff and everything. Even some of our greats have too many freaking yes men around them, and I feel like we already know who we talk about.
Like when you get to that certain level of. We do need, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you need some level of, like, all right, you gotta listen to some type of criticism or critique, but take it with the good and the bad. You can't just think all the good and think, oh, I'm just perfect. You can still get better.
Yeah,
still always.
There's room for improvement. I always say that. I always agree. Okay, and then so I want to ask you all, what would be something you would advise new coming and incoming creators?
Something that I would advise a new creator that's trying to move into the space is, we kind of talked about this on the last segment a little bit, but ultimately,
one-on-one.
Ultimately, I think the ultimate thing is really where everybody that's starting is just to put something out there, because ultimately. You could live in your head and you could think, okay, they're not gonna like, they're gonna think this, they're gonna, like, I've seen people, like, you never know who's gonna be in the crowd or who's gonna be receptive to what you're putting out. So the thing that you have, it might not be for everybody. It might only be for one person that night, but that one person might give you the confidence or give you the thing that you need that's gonna carry you into the next thing that you're gonna do.
Yeah.
And so I've had a show where I did it, and a lot of people, I didn't get a whole bunch of crowd reaction. I'm like, dang, I don't think that show went well. Then one person came up to me afterwards like, hey, that one song that you did that
changed my life.
Yeah,
that's right. I shed a tear over it.
That
was like, yo, keep going, bro. And that's those people was like, oh, bro.
I ain't never seen that man ever again. Like, I don't know what happened to him. Like,
we wish you the best, bro. Yeah, we wish you the best.
But yeah, I'll never forget that. Like, I'll never forget moments like that. So. I would say, just for all the new up and coming artists, like, to put something out there, and then like, don't be afraid of like getting judgment or getting anything about it, because like, at the end of the day, that weight, getting that weight up, just getting that off of your soul, or just like, I was able to express the thing that I needed to express, that emotion, that feeling.
Yeah.
That's the biggest, like, just we got it out. Like, we got this idea out, because that's what it is. Sometimes you just gotta get the ideas out.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I like that. I like that you said that. I relate to that answer.
I've been thinking of that. Like, just these ideas deserve to see the light of day.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, and it's like, because you do have to start from somewhere, and like you said, if maybe one person being receptive to it is all that is needed and stuff. So it's like for me, I didn't really think, like, my poetry audiobook, I didn't really like after I did it and everything, I was like, okay, I did it, I'm done. Like, I was like, fine. And then I was like, no, now I'm in this part where I can do like visuals for it, which I will be working on, and some favorites and stuff and everything. But now I'm like, entering a new phase with it, with rehearsing it, performing it, and everything. So it's never just like me putting it out was enough, but now there is other parts that I can do with it, and I didn't think there would be. I thought it was just going to be putting it out. So you all saying that is like, for all you other upcoming and incoming creatives, just put something out, because all the other ideas will come right after, for real. And yeah,
there's a saying that the richest place in the world is the cemetery, because people are taking so many thoughts and ideas that would have changed the world with them when they died.
Wow, that's a saying for sure.
Yeah, when you think about it like that, it's like, I might as well let all his ideas go.
Yeah, for real.
Like,
come on, we gonna have to. That was a good one. But okay, so now we gonna do the 4-bar challenge. If you guys want, you guys can collaborate with that. So 2 bar. So you guys can bounce off each other. Okay, so you guys can do something about math, money, movies, magic and mystics, motivation and movement. I'm gonna guess what y'all rapped about.
Okay.
So you guys can split it how you guys do it together, so y'all can bounce off each other.
I need to think of a song.
Okay, take your time. It doesn't have to be too many bars. Just like literally 3. Well, let's do 2 bars, 2 bars.
The love of money, the root of evil. See through addicts like a hole in the roof leak through. I see the mind like landmines, a hand-eye coordination. Watch where you step in. Obliteration. They're waiting at every corner like the coroners. All these AKs and BBs swarming us. CC to all these D-League motherfuckers forward.
Hey, he got it. That's
Okay, so let me guess.
That was fair. That's why he's the writer and I am the producer.
Okay, I like it though.
He's the writer.
So I'm gonna guess money. I feel a little bit of the mystics in it. Okay, but I feel money, movement, and motivation.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, I got it, All right, thank y'all so much for stopping by at Booth Avenue, and stay tuned, more from them too.
Yes, sir. Yeah.